I'm pretty new to foiling, and I just got this in October. It's April now. And the paint on the Getfoil chips off really easily. Unfortunately, you're always putting it on the nose. You're putting it on the nose when it's at rest, on the land. You sort of twist it and balance it on the nose when you need to maneuver it onto your shoulder. So the paint on my nose has gotten really chipped off. So I'm going to try to make a guard for this. Kydex is a piece of plastic that when you heat it, it gets really soft and you can mold it. So I've also seen videos on YouTube where people make keel guards for their kayaks. So it seemed to me this be a perfect substance to try to use a heat gun and mold it onto there. They sell it in 3 different thicknesses, 0.06, 0.08, and 0.92. I'm using the 0.08. Normally you'd use a heat gun to heat this up, or you can also put it in an oven. I don't like the oven idea because anytime you heat up plastic, it's going to give off fumes. And I would rather not have toxic fumes getting into the air of my house where I have pets. The Kydex is a foot wide, less 1/4 inch. So I put a piece of tape where it would come to here if I made the tip of the nose right in the middle. And I had just planned to stuff the Kydex on there when it's hot, but I realized I should test it a little bit. So I did the same thing with a piece of foil, and all the places where it was bunching up, I kind of cut it out because I didn't need it to be a full piece there, if that makes sense. I ended up with a pattern that looks like this. The idea is, if I line up the top of this paint, bend over the nose like this, and then this piece goes under first. The second piece will go over that. Third flap on the bottom will go over that. End up with something that looks like that, basically. So I used a gel pen to mark on this. You can also use a Sharpie. And that's the basic shape of what I want. The shiny side goes on the inside and the textured side goes on the outside. And then you can just cut it with tin snips or really strong shears. You can also, if you're doing a straight line, you could score it with a sharp blade and then break it apart. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now it's just a matter of using a heat gun to heat it up, hold it on. You want to heat it up, keep your heat gun moving until it starts to get soft and bendable. And then you can put it on and just mold it with your hands as long as you're using gloves. You don't get the world's cheapest heat gun either, because this keeps going on and off. Alright, take 2 weeks later, I got myself a better heat gun. Boy, that other one was a piece of junk. So now I bought a Makita that the attachments don't feel like they're going to bend if you press on them too hard. It's hefty, and I have a feeling it's going to work when I actually turn it on. So the idea is to heat this up to about 290, and I'm going to use about 350 degrees on the gun itself. I'm going to give it one more try. This time I cranked my heat gun up to about 410. Starting to heat up because it's starting to get straight instead of bend. So, getting there. See, it's starting to get a little floppy. That's good. Alright, I've gotten better at this. So the trick is you have to have your heat gun hot enough. I turned it up to about 490. And when it starts to heat up hot enough, I don't know if you can see this, but it changes color a little bit. It gets a little bit darker and a little bit shinier. And when it's like that, you can really mold it. So I started doing a little at a time. I sort of tried to do the side so I could have an idea of where exactly it's supposed to go. And then I heated up the nose, and I really was able to push this solid against the nose of the foil. So I'm just going to keep doing that a little bit at a time. If you have your heat gun hot enough, then it only takes a couple of minutes until it starts to turn color and get real floppy. So that's what you want. came out okay. It's pretty ugly. It doesn't fit on there. Sorry, I dropped it on the ground. It doesn't fit on there quite as tightly as I thought it would, but it does fit as far as right up against the nose is right there. It does what I wanted it to do, which is protect the nose. So I might try to spray the inside with some Flex Seal just to give it a little bit of a rubber coating and help protect the lovely paint job even more. But does what I want it to do, fits right on there. So when I have to twirl it on its nose, it should be a protection. We'll see how it works. In order to hold this in place, I just drilled a hole. It's easy to do with just a normal drill bit. Just start it with an awls to make a little indentation, and then the drill bit won't wander. And then I tried a regular suction cup, and it just kept falling off. So instead, I bought these heavy-duty suction cups that have the locking mechanism, and put it on there as long as it starts off being clean, locked it down, and attached it that way. It just has to keep it from falling off in the seconds when you tilt this thing forward and you end up putting it on its nose.